Hi guys, this is the last part of the tutorial number 3, and in the previous videos we modeled a class gun and then created graphical user interface in Eclipse. So in the last tutorial we'll start using Eclipse and we'll continue to do so. So let's just open up your Eclipse, go to tutorials. So if this main class isn't opened, then go to your, it's probably called tutorial, then go to source and package, then open up main class. So this is where we left off. We have our target, which is a rectangle with red color, and we attached it to the scene and finally attached scene to the stage, which is like window. So if we run that, we'll see a rectangle, our square, and that's it pretty much. Today we're gonna animate it, so make it move around randomly, and we'll try to shoot it. In order to, so if we need to animate something, we need to run it on JavaFX thread, because JavaFX controls everything in a scene graph. So if you want to modify scene graph, you will need to run this modification code in a thread called JavaFX application thread, which can be called as, which can be sort of invoked as platform dot run later. This arrow here means that this is the lambda function, which came with Java 8. We're not gonna cover it in this tutorial, so just bear with me. And to do this, target set translate x. So we want to move the target to random coordinates. So we're gonna use math.random as always, which returns a value. In Eclipse, if you hover over the method or field, it'll give you the Java documentation of it. So as you can see, it returns a double, which is between 0 and 1 being exclusive. So we'll multiply that by our, if we multiply by our width, which is 600, that means that the maximum value could be 599. And we don't want that because the width of the rectangle is 40, so rectangle will basically be almost out of bounds for our window. What we're going to do is 600 minus 40, which is 560. And the same thing with set translate y. This will only run once, so we need to run this piece of code here at a fixed interval, say 1 second. So we can create a new thread, executors dot new scheduled single thread scheduled executor, schedule at fixed rate. So from the argument list or parameter list, you can see that it takes a runnable, which is the code that will be run. Initial delay, this is the delay before it starts running it for the first time, so it's with 0. Period is the interval, so 1, and time unit is going to be seconds. Seconds. So now, instead of this command, we're going to use the lambda again and put this piece of code in there. So this piece of code, platform.run later, means that these two lines will be executed on the JavaFX application thread, which we need. And this whole piece of code, block of code, will run every second in a different thread. So threads basically allow parallel execution as opposed to what we do without without creating new threads. Then we run in sequentially. Also, we want our application to close. So primary stage, set on close request, take an event, and we close the application when the user hits the X button window. What else? We also need to create our gun. Cloud gun, new gun. So we no longer need this. Now we need to a way of identifying whether the user hit the target. So target set on mouse click. Yep, there it is. So target is a child or subclass of a node, probably not indirect. So rectangle extends shape, shape extends node. Yep. So if you keep extending it, you still inherit things from the class above. And in the class node, there are functions or methods to get the user input, whether it's mouse or a keyboard call. So set on mouse clicked, takes an event. For now, we'll just print that it has, we hit the target. Yeah, let's try that. First, as you can see, we now have a moving target. Now if we click on it, on the console you'll see hit. Yeah. So now we have a way of identifying whether the user hit the square. You can make sort of more difficult getting the circle if we make this value of 1 second even lower and say 250 milliseconds. Alright, now we need to actually fire the gun. This will reduce the number of bullets, so we also like to print, well, we need to know whether we hit the target or not. Gunfire. Actually, gunfire shouldn't be here because this piece of code is only triggered when we hit the target. So instead, we're gonna do this scene set on mouse clicked. So we'll fire whenever we click the mouse button, and we will only see a hit when we actually click it, click on the target. Gunfire, gun, print, state. So instead of hit, we could have like score, private in score. And we'll print the score instead. So every time we hit the target, we'll get 100 more points. So now if we press mouse button, we'll fire a bullet. Doesn't mean that the bullet has to hit the target. It just prints its state. So if we try to hit it, we just hit this square, and now we got 100 points, and we can repeat the thing. What else can we do? We can reload the gun, because eventually there will be 0 bullets and we won't be able to shoot. So on mouse click, we can bind right mouse button for reload and the primary mouse button for gunfire. So event get button. If button is primary, then do that. So fire else. So we don't care whether it's middle button or secondary button. It will still reload the gun. Gun reload. And we'll print state just to make sure it has been reloaded. As you can see, mouse button.primary is also an enum, which we covered 2 tutorials ago. I'm just shooting. So we have now 6 bullets. And if I right click, I reload the gun, and now we have 15 bullets again. So it's a new clip. So the last thing we could, instead of using the console, we could print the score to screen. Yeah, let's do that. Private text, just message or screen text. Yeah, we need to import that, so let's click on import text from JavaFX scene. And we need to modify this statement. Instead of adding just one target, root get children add all target, and then screen text. You can also move the text to the right side, or even top right corner, I think. Screen text set slide X. About 500 units, and screen text. Actually, it's 0 by default anyway, so we'll just move it down slightly. Say 50. Okay, now instead of printing the score, we're gonna set screen text set text score plus because it expects a string value. We cannot pass score as it is an integer. So instead of passing an integer, we can sort of concatenate it with an empty string, which gives us a string back. So basically, this is a very short way of converting an integer to a string, or any value for that matter, any numerical value. New text. Actually, we can write score and then put a 0. And then do the same here. So instead of concatenating it with an empty string, we can concatenate it with a string that says score. Also, all the events, like mouse click event, keyboard event, when they're called back, they're handled on the JavaFX application thread. So we don't need to do platform.run later. Right, now we have our score. and when we hit the target, we get our score increased. Oh, still fire bullets. We print state to the console, so we can modify that as well. So instead of doing print state, we should be able to get number of bullets. Gun dot. Right, we cannot, but we should be able to get clip then. If we go to class gun and then add another method to retrieve the clip, public clip, get clip, return clip. So we need another text, route text, gun info, new text. We'll add that to our root node so that JavaFX can display it. And finally, gun info set text. Bullets plus gun get clip get bullets. By default, we have 15 bullets, so we'll do that. Or we can do the same here. And do gun get clip. Because if we hard code the value 15, if you change it, it will still stay 15. And if we do this instead, we can have a number of bullets straight away. So that's score. Yeah. Set text. Yeah, that should do it. Now we haven't set the coordinates of our info text. Gun info set translate x 500. Gun info set translate y say 100. So it's just underneath the score. So when you shoot, when you click mouse button, left mouse button, number of bullets gets decreased, and you hit the target, you'll get a score. And right click to reload, and as you can see, you'll have 15 bullets again. I think this is it for this tutorial. Obviously, you can modify the program to do a lot of different things, but this is sort of I'm deliberately trying to keep things simple, so it's easier to understand. Yeah, I think this is it for this tutorial. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.